What's up guys, Framinthor here, Captain Negativity with everything that has to do with World of Warcraft. And let's go through number 5 and number 6 for the Torghast modes that I think would have been cool, or can still be added, because it's just an activity you can do for fun with its own leaderboard. Anyways, mode number 5, kind of similar to mode number 4, but the whole point of this one is to solve puzzles. Technically, you can easily mix number 5 and number 4 and throw all of these puzzles into the sneaky bounty hunter, treasure hunter. But ideally, I want to have the sneaky treasure hunter. I love saying it. I don't know. I just love saying it. Ideally, I would want the sneaky treasure hunter. I need to stop saying it. To be more of a time constraint type thing, so I wouldn't want to throw the hard puzzles into it, which is what number 5 is. Number 5 is just crazy puzzles to solve the floor in order to go to the next one, such as moving boxes to a certain trigger that would open a door somewhere, and in that door you have to open a trigger for another door, but then you have to use the first box and move it somewhere else. So it's like you open a door to open another door, but then you have to close the first door in order to get to the third door, etc, etc. Things like that, as well as just a bigger, so for example, you know those like chests you have in Torghast with all the triggers, the levers that you have to pull in a certain like 2 levers up, 2 levers down would open the chest. Bigger chests like this with more options of you solving it. You can even throw in something similar to, you know, that toy that you have in with the Blingtron circuit thing, where you just have to like make sure the circuit doesn't cross each other, like, you know, it's like you can make a circle, so but you start off it's all crossed out, stuff like that. You can do stuff like that in game with like mirrors of light and stuff like that. We had it in, I believe it was in Skyrim. In ESO you had that too. Basically, like, there's a level where you have to just like make the light go to a certain location, and once the light reaches that location, the door opens. All these like cool little puzzles that you can do, that you can think of, throw that into that mode, basically called puzzle mode. And again, leaderboard, whoever solves these faster and stuff like that. And obviously, because this is Torghast, you might as well have a boss at the end that you kill. Like whatever. Though honestly, for puzzle mode, I feel like this should be a non-combat mode, and it's just there for puzzle solving and just having fun, like having a bit of a thought process, have some math problems and all that stuff. Even if there is a boss at the end, it wouldn't have to do so much with combat, but more like problem solving, right? Like clicking certain buttons to do damage, to counter a boss, stuff like that, right? Like triggers around the boss room. Rather than fighting the boss, you would have these triggers. Okay, so that's pretty much puzzles. Again, there is room to the imagination, but basically the premise is puzzles. Make it a thinking game, okay? And let's go to number 6. Okay, number 6 is basically a boss builder. So what happens in this one is you are given a lot of Torghast powers, okay? However, each power you take will give the boss a certain power that usually would counter the power you take. So what you want to do is build yourself up to counter more of the boss mechanics than he would counter yours. Obviously, this requires a lot of thinking. And again, I'm not the one designing it. I know this would be like probably like the hardest thing to design. The way I see it, honestly, is very similar to how PoE does certain bosses. I don't remember what that mode is called, but basically you take a certain... I think it's in the maps. So certain maps, like you can take certain bonuses or something that would increase the boss something or give the boss something, right? Hunts in Walson do this well as well. So it's like you're going to receive more, you know, you have a better chance of getting rare items from this boss, but the boss will deal 100% more damage. I'm not saying well as in like it's well designed. I'm saying well as in like the idea is cool of whatever power you take gives the boss a certain power, and then it's harder. So sometimes you might have to consider maybe you shouldn't take a power so the boss doesn't get much stronger, right? Like sometimes maybe it's not worth to take a power, or sometimes the counter that the boss will do to the power that you're taking, or like whatever, will increase the boss's something, like give him an extra ability, would not impede you because your class already can counter it while the power would still help you. Okay, so basically it's a boss builder, requires a bit of strategy and thinking ahead of how you want to fight the boss, what would be the best combinations. Obviously there would be a meta on Icy Veins or Wowhead, a guide of like what kind of boss you want to fight. And again, leaderboards, higher floors, harder bosses, you know, nothing like out of the ordinary. Okay, there's still Torghast, but another mode in Torghast that you could probably had fun with. Anyways, that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one for number 7 and number 8. Peace.